I don't think enough content creators are transparent about how they don't make money online. My name's Bear, and unlike the majority of autistic people who struggle with employment and income, I've always found managing money easy, although like many of us, I wasn't taught how to save in school. If you're using the tips on Save Like a Bear, you can only optimise so far. Sometimes you just need to increase your income to give yourself more wriggle room, or perhaps to fund a 90-degree turn in life. Making money can be a bit of a puzzle, and questions from friends and family have made it clear that I didn't write about this enough when I started my blog. Let's rectify that today. The first piece of the puzzle in making money is getting hired. Now, once upon a time, I thought that only meant working for a traditional employer 9 till 5. If I'm honest, I've never worked 9 to 5 in my life. It's more like 8 till 8 or 9 till 7, am I right? And these days there are so many income streams, and research shows a quarter of us have a side hustle. So getting hired these days can mean getting hired as a freelancer, or you could take the view that if you're earning revenue from creating content or selling online, that you're being hired by advertisers or your audience. At the moment though, my main source of income is not creating content, and I don't think enough content creators are transparent about how they don't make money online. The second part of the puzzle of making money is thoroughly researching all the options available to us. My primary aim when I started blogging was to help first-time buyers save after my own trial by fire. So monetization was just going to be a happy byproduct. If you do pour time and money and effort into something, you'll often find that's not sustainable if it doesn't generate a financial return. The third part of the puzzle then is balancing your values with financial gain. I'm in a privileged position, so I'm more likely to choose making an installment about charities like the Brothers Trust and Alex's Wish and Deborah and EB Research, and why I think giving is really important to financial happiness, even though that has very low earnings potential, than I am to make an installment where I just make lots of affiliate income. But that's because I have other sources of income, and those are the messages I want to share as an ethical marketer. And if you're not sure if you or someone you follow is a marketer or an influencer, if in doubt, if someone has one follower on a social media platform who might make a decision as a result of something that person is posting, that makes you an influencer and a marketer, but you can do it in an ethical way. And once you start making money, if you can avoid lifestyle creep with the help of resources like mine, then I promise you will feel like $1 million if you make it part of your plans to give some of those earnings away to good causes. So there's a career story I want to share with you coming up on Save Like a Bear. But that apprenticeship story is not my experience. I've worked with apprentices, but I didn't have to manage them directly. And I think the business I was in wasn't able to give the level of support you're supposed to get as an apprentice. But this was also when the current apprenticeship schemes were very new and being tested. So I think the opportunities have gotten a lot better. But one of the things that I'll be covering is what to expect from an apprenticeship, because so much of contentment in life is really about managing your expectations. Just like I would not try mislead anyone to expect that they can make money overnight from blogging or podcasting or YouTube, because that's not been my experience, and the data shows that there is a 1%. So the majority of the income from these creative avenues is going to a minority of creators. But I think we can flatten that out a bit as the creator economy grows if we are more transparent with each other and support and share information between creators about what the reality really is. I learned about the pros and cons of apprenticeships from a blogger named Katie, and we only met because Katie had put a lot of time and effort and money into a blog that didn't give her the return she needed for it to be sustainable, and so I bought that blog. Now, just because I'm going to feature what Katie had to say about her experience successfully completing an apprenticeship, including where you can then go to pursue that, that doesn't mean you have to give up your dreams of being a YouTuber or anything else if you're choosing this route as like the sort of safe, maybe more financially secure route, but you might want to do the latter as a side hustle first. Now, buying this blog means that I now have 2 blogs on the go. Do I profit from my blogs currently? No. Do I profit from my podcast, even though I've been running ads on it since day one? Not yet, but it's getting there. And it's also important to understand that income and profit are not the same thing. I'm happy to do a breakdown one day of what it costs me to do all of these activities, because that's another thing that entrepreneurs and content creators rarely show how much they're spending. And so someone's earnings can be very different from the profit and the money they actually take home after tax. That's why assumption is the mother of all, and to assume would make a donkey out of you and me. That's the first dad joke I've told all week. I'm really growing as a person. Unfortunately, it's not my comedy skills that are growing. If you're wondering why I didn't include a question about whether I profit from YouTube, 7,000 views so far does not profit make. So this and my other channel are very much a labour of love. I also wanted to mention that if you're autistic like me, then besides apprenticeships, some big companies have autistic hiring programs that recognise that autistic traits can be a huge asset in the workplace rather than an obstacle. So definitely look into that if it could help. If you found today useful, don't forget to test what the like and subscribe button do, and you'll want to catch the rest of the series next.
You're good? Good. How are you good? You turning me down?
The best way to get updates otherwise from Save Like a Bear is actually via my email newsletter, where I'll also send out a bonus guide on budgeting and mindset that you can use whether you've added a second income or not. Links to sign up to that are in the description. Go forth!